Story tonight. The Modi government is set to present the vote on account on the 1st of February, and we are given to understand that the centre may consider increasing the income tax exemption limit for individuals to 5 lakh rupees. Currently, the exemption threshold stands at 2.5 lakh rupees. Timsy Jaipuria joins us with the details. Timsy, of course, this is election season, so sweetener is likely to be given out, but could this be a realistic possibility?
With all eyes on the upcoming budget, government is likely to bring in some relief for the low-income group. According to sources, government is currently weighing the pros and cons of increasing exemption limit of income tax. Now, sources told CNBC TV 18 that government is mulling options to see if it can increase the income tax exemption limit to 5 lakh rupees from current 4 lakh rupees. Remember, this 4 lakh is a combination of two things. That is, one is exempted from paying income tax if the annual income is below 2.5 lakh rupees, and government also allows exemption on various saving schemes to the maximum of 1.5 lakh rupees per annum, thus making it a total of 4 lakhs. And now government is weighing options that this total of 4 lakhs, if it can be increased to 5 lakhs. Not just this, direct tax relief for large corporate houses might have to wait, as sources share that government is unlikely to reduce the corporate tax rate for remaining 1% of corporate taxpayers to 25%, as it feels that the revenue implication of this particular move would be about 1 lakh crore rupees per annum. And this is also reasoned by the thinking of the government to give relief to low-income group first as a priority, as against extending relief to corporate houses. On the other hand, when it comes to indirect taxes, government is also unlikely to make major indirect tax policy changes in the upcoming vote on account budget, as government is very clear that it would first focus on revenue stabilization on the indirect tax side, and would also want to wait for any further rationalization of custom duties for the moment. However, let's see what finally happens when Finance Minister Arun Jaitley reads out his budget speech on February 1st. We'll keep you posted. Back to you.
Okay, so this is what is being considered. Will it go through or not? We'll know on the 1st of February. Joining us now to discuss this further, Dinesh, Kanabar, CEO at Dhruva Advisors. Mr. Kanabar, thanks very much for joining us. Well, that's source-based information. No final decision has been taken, but this is certainly a consideration. What do you make of it?
A couple of things. As was mentioned on your channel, this is a vote on account and not a budget, and therefore, ordinarily speaking, one ought not to see any significant changes happen at all. If at all the government does decide to...
These are not ordinary times, sir.
the other thing I would say...
We've seen constitutional amendments go through in a single day of sitting of parliament, sir.
So the way I look at it is that the government has just announced a 10% reservation, and for that 10% reservation, now come back to say that 8 lakh rupee is the income limit, and therefore obviously it makes sense to increase the exemption limit, because to say that people are taxpayers and still qualify for low income scheme itself does not really make sense. It's really a bit contradictory, but it would be a bit unusual. But as you rightly said, we are living in unusual times, and therefore anything could go through. Basically, what I am expecting, Shereen, is that in this budget, a lot of policy announcements would be announced on the tax front. And those policy announcements would be on the basis that if this government did get re-elected, what are the likely changes they will bring about? As you know, the government has constituted a new committee for direct taxes code. That committee is looking at a variety of things and the changes and the simplification, etc. And I think some of those proposals will be tabled as a proposition to the people to say that if this government did come back, what are the changes they should expect to see? Those will be the major things to look out for, as opposed to really any more changes to the direct tax laws. There was also a mention on the indirect tax laws, and as you know, Shereen, indirect tax has now moved out of the budget into the state committee, and really therefore that one should not be expecting at all.
No, the aspect that Timsy was talking about was the possibility of any changes in customs, because that was being speculated on whether we could see any changes or tweaks as far as the customs rates were concerned. But we're given to understand that that may not be likely in the vote on account, or at least it's not a priority at this point in time. But very quickly, since you were talking about policy announcements, the big expectation is whether we could see this direct benefit transfer scheme for the agriculture sector, for farmers specifically, being rolled out. What's the sense within industry?
I think the industry would really very much welcome it, because anything which plugs the leakage and anything which ensures that what goes out of the coffers of the government reaches the people to whom it should go immediately is really the most important thing. It could really spur spending, it could spur demand, and it would be a very, very welcome thing.
All right, Mr. Kanabar, we'll leave it there. Appreciate you joining us. And that's the interesting aspect, that the reason why we may, in fact, see this income tax exemption threshold being raised is to align it to what the government has done with the 10% reservation bill, where the 8 lakh rupee limit has been set. Well,